Okay, today I'll be performing my air brakes and my in-cab. First things first, always seatbelt. All right, my first test of my air brakes is going to be my ABS and regen light. In order for this to be a good test, my ABS and regen light must come on and go off within 10 seconds. Turn my key to on position. My ABS and regen light are on. My ABS and regen light went out. This is a good test. My next test will be my governor cutout. In order for that to be a good test, my governor must cut out in between 120 and 140 psi. I'll do a safe start and make sure my truck's in neutral, my brakes applied, start the truck. In order to speed up the process, I'm going to use my fuel pedal, not to exceed 1200 RPM. And Mr. Examiner, I'll be using my primary air gauge for all my tests today. Watching my primary air gauge, make sure it's rising. Now that I'm getting close to my governor cutout, I'll let off the fuel so I can hear the governor cut out. Okay, my governor just cut out at 135 psi, which is in between 140 and 120. This is a good test. My next test will be my leakage test. In order for this to be a good test, I cannot lose more than 4 psi in 1 minute for my combination vehicle. This is the only time I'll use a timer for my test. Set my timer. So I'm going to put my truck in low gear. Turn the truck off. Take my foot off the clutch. Turn the ignition back to the on position. Wait for my needle to settle. My needle has settled. I'll release both my spring brakes. Now I'll wait for my needle to settle again. Watching my primary air gauge to make sure my needle stops moving. Okay, my needle has settled. Now I'll push the service brake and hold it and wait for my needle to settle again. Okay, my needle has settled. My minute starts now. Watching my primary air gauge, make sure I don't lose any air pressure. Okay, my minute is up. I did not lose any air pressure, which is no more than 4 psi in 1 minute for my combination vehicle. This is a good test. My next test will be my low air warning light and buzzer. In order for this to be a good test, my low air warning light and buzzer must come on no lower than 55 psi. I'll fan my brakes. Okay, my low air warning light and buzzer came on, no lower than 55 psi. This is a good test. My next test will be my spring brake pop out. In order for this to be a good test, both my spring brakes must pop out no lower than 20 psi. I'll fan my brakes. Now I'm just watching my spring brakes, so I'll lean over a little bit so I can see them. All right, both my spring brakes popped out, no lower than 20 psi. This is a good test. Now I'm going to do a safe start to rebuild my air pressure. My truck is in neutral. My brakes are applied. Start the truck. Now, while I'm waiting for my air pressure to rebuild, I'll do my in-cab. First thing on my in-cab is my light indicators. So, my left turn signal indicator is working. My right turn signal indicator is working. My high beam indicator is working. And my four-way flasher indicator is working. Next is my emergency equipment. I have 6 extra fuses properly rated for my vehicle. Outside of my storage, I have a fire extinguisher. It's securely mounted and it's in the full position. Also in my storage is my jockey box with my 3 reflective triangles. Next, I'll do my windshield. My windshield is not cracked, broken, or damaged. It's securely mounted. There's no illegal stickers and it's clean. My mirrors. Both my mirrors are not cracked, broken, or damaged. Securely mounted. No missing hardware. No illegal stickers. They're clean and they're properly adjusted for me to drive the truck. Next, I'm going to do my wiper blades and arm. Not cracked, broken, or damaged. Wiper blade itself not ripped or torn. And my washer fluid is working. Next will be my heater and my defroster. I hear it blowing. My defroster is working. My heater is working. Next will be my horns. My city horn is working. My highway horn is working. That concludes my in-cab. I'm still waiting for my air pressure to build, so I'm going to use my fuel pedal not to exceed 1200 RPM. Okay, I just heard my governor cut out, 130 PSI. My next test will be my tug test. In order for this to be a good test, both my parking brake and my trailer brake must hold my combination vehicle in place. I'm going to put my truck in low gear. First brake I'm going to test is my parking brake. So I'm going to release my trailer brake, let out the clutch a little bit, give it a tug. My parking brake held my combination vehicle. Now I'll test my trailer brake. I will set my trailer brake. I'll release my parking brake. Let out the clutch a little, give it a tug. Both my parking brake and my trailer brake held my combination vehicle in place. This is a good test. My next test will be my service brake. In order for this to be a good test, my service brake must stop my combination vehicle. First, I'll put my foot on the brake, release my trailer brake. Before I move forward, I'm going to check my surroundings, make sure it's safe to move my vehicle. It's safe to move my vehicle. Go forward. My service brake stopped my combination vehicle. My steering wheel didn't pull left or right, indicating a brake problem. This is a good test. I'm going to put my truck back in neutral, set my brakes, take my feet off the pedals. That concludes my air brakes and in-cab. All right, today I'll start my pre-trip. The front of my truck, all my lights and lens covers are not cracked, broken, or missing. They're the proper color and they're clean. I'm going to look underneath my truck, make sure there's no hanging hoses or wires, make sure there's no puddles on the ground indicating a leak. I'll open my hood. I'll use 3 points of contact to open my hood, 1 foot on the ground, 1 on the bumper, both hands on the handle. All right, I'm going to start out with my coolant reservoir. It should be in between minimum and maximum. My power steering reservoir should be in between minimum and maximum. My oil dipstick should be in between add and full. Now I'll do all my hoses on this side of the truck, all my hoses. No abrasions, bulges, cuts, or leaks. They're securely mounted, no missing hardware. My airlines, all my airlines. There's no abrasions, bulges, cuts, or leaks. Securely mounted, no missing hardware. Go to my power steering hose. There's no abrasions, bulges, cuts, or leaks. Securely mounted, no missing hardware. My power steering box. It's not leaking and it's securely mounted. Now I'm going to do my steering. My pitman arm, my drag lead, my upper and lower control arm, and my tie rod. They're not cracked, broken, or damaged. They're securely mounted with 3 castle nuts and cotter pins. 1 here, 1 here, 1 in the back. All my joints and sockets are not loose or worn. Now I'll go to my leaf spring hanger. My leaf spring hanger, 1 in the front, 1 in the rear. Not cracked, broken, or damaged. Securely mounted, no missing hardware. Then I'll go to my leaf spring itself. It's not cracked, broken, or damaged. None are shifted, none are missing. Now I'm going to go to my shock absorber. My shock absorber mount is not cracked, broken, or damaged. Securely mounted, no missing hardware. My shock absorber itself is not leaking. I'm going to go to my brake chamber hose. My brake chamber hose, no abrasions, bulges, cuts, or leaks. Securely mounted, no missing hardware. In between my brake liner and my brake drum, it's free of debris, contaminants, oil, or grease. I'll go to my steering tire. My steering tire, the inner, outer, and the face of my tire. No abrasions, bulges, cuts, or leaks. Securely mounted to my rim. My minimum, they cannot be recapped, regrooved, or retreaded. They cannot be mismatched. Minimum tread depth is 430 seconds. I would check this with a tread depth gauge. If I needed to service or add air to my tire, I'd do it through my valve stem with a tire pressure gauge to the manufacturer's specification. I'm going to go to my rim, my inner, my outer rim. It's not cracked, broken, or damaged. No illegal holes, no illegal welds. It's securely mounted by all my lug nuts. My lug nuts are not cracked, broken, or damaged. The holes are not elongated. None of my lug nuts are missing. They're all in the tight position. If one of my lug nuts was loose, I would see shiny metal or oxidation. Go to my side lenses and reflectors if I had any. They're not cracked, broken, or missing. They're the proper color and they're clean. I'm going to go to my mirror and my mirror arm. It's not cracked, broken, or damaged. Securely mounted, no missing hardware. My mirrors are clean, no illegal stickers. Now I'm gonna go to my battery box. My battery cover is securely mounted. Inside are my batteries. My batteries are not cracked, broken, or leaking. They're the wires that lead to my battery. There's no cut, frayed, or exposed wires. Securely mounted to the post of my battery. There's no corrosion on my lines or my batteries. Now I'm gonna go to my DEF tank and my fuel tank and the lines that lead to them. They're not cracked, broken, or damaged. My tanks aren't leaking. My caps are in the Loctite position. My DEF cap and my fuel cap. Now I'm gonna go to my tractor frame and cross member, my trailer frame and cross members. They're not cracked, broken, or damaged. They're securely mounted, no missing hardware. There's welds, so there's no illegal or missed welds. The floor of my trailer is not cracked or broken. There's no holes and no parts are missing. Now let's start my couplings. My emergency line, my service line, my emergency line, and my electrical cord. My electrical cord, there's no cut or frays, no exposed wires, no frayed, no bare wires showing. These are my air lines. My air lines are not cracked, broken. There's no abrasions, bulges, cuts, or leaks. They're securely mounted to my truck, securely mounted to my trailer in the lock position. My air lines and my electrical line are not tangled, crimped, or pinched. They're not dragging on my truck frame or the ground. Now I'm gonna go to my apron. It's not cracked, broken, or damaged. It's welded, so there's no illegal or missed welds. It's laying flat on my skid plate. There's no gap, and it's properly greased. My skid plate itself is not cracked, broken, or damaged, and it is properly greased. My lock and jaw lever is in the engaged position. I'm gonna go to my kingpin. My kingpin is not cracked, broken, or damaged. It's welded, so there's no illegal or missed welds. Behind it is my lock and jaw. It's in the Loctite position around the shank of my kingpin. Now I'm gonna go to my clearance lights on my trailer. Amber in color in the front, red in the back. They're not cracked, broken, or missing. They're the proper color and they're clean. Now I'm gonna go to my DOT tape. DOT tape is not ripped or torn, securely mounted all the way around my trailer. I'm gonna go to my landing gear. My landing gear handle, supports, and cross members are not cracked, broken, or damaged. They're welded, so there's no illegal or missed welds. My landing gear itself is not cracked or broken. It's in the up position. In between my landing gear and my tractor frame, I have the proper distance to make sharp turns. So the back of my trailer, all my lights and lens covers and reflectors, if I had any, are not cracked, broken, or missing. They're the proper color and they're clean. As I inspected this side of the vehicle, I inspect the other side the same. That concludes my pre-trip.